Hello, happy last week of first trimester. This is going to be a slightly longer video because I need to fully explain this project slide by slide, especially if you are a B student, because we're not going to be able to talk about this till we have our class Thursday or Friday. Please make sure you watch the entirety of this video as it will give you instructions on how to complete your final project, your last big assignment, for the trimester, your final project on the giver. So I'm going to go through this slide by slide. So slide number 1 here, there's not a ton you need to do. One of the things I did on this is this is your template, right? Please make sure that everything that's like in the asterisk, that is something you need to add. So for example, you should delete where it says add your name, what's inside the asterisk, and add your name. And then there are some instructions for this slide. So please change the color, change the color and the theme and the font and all that for all your slides. I really would like this to be a little bit visually appealing to look at. You don't have to spend tons of time with transitions and that, but at least change the background color on your slides, or even just like the layout. Pick one of the presets that Google Docs has, or Google Slides, I'm sorry. This slide also needs one photo. I would prefer a selfie. I would love to just see you, maybe take a selfie of you and the giver. But one photo on this, and then like I just said, when you're done, delete everything inside of the asterisks. I'm linking this video here too. I know it's in our agenda and on our Schoology page, but I'm linking this video here, so make sure you delete this text box. Then you'll get into kind of the introduction. So the first thing you're going to do is your book reaction slide. So, right here, the directions are written out for you. Explain what you thought of the book in at least 2 sentences. Why did you like or dislike it? And I do not care if you hated the book. That is fine. You can hate this book with every ounce of your being. Just explain to me why. That's okay. After you've done that, right, so you'll delete this. You'll write 2 sentences. Then you'll delete this and you will add a photo. So pick maybe a happy face or an angry face, or even just like put a picture of the giver on here with just one photo. And then, like I just said, delete all instructions inside of the asterisk. So really this is like your template with instructions, but when it's done, all that should be on this slide is 2 sentences explaining if you like the book or not, and 1 photo. Also, please keep these titles on your slides too. All right, this is where then you're going to want to use your reading guide and potentially the giver book as well. This is sort of like the meat, the body of your presentation. This correlates step by step with the reading guide. So this first slide is about rules and ceremonies. The left half is about rules and the right half is about ceremonies. So read these instructions carefully, but right here where it says data number 1, describe a rule in the community and a specific moment that a character interacts with the rule. I should be able to find the exact moment you were writing about. So tell me what one rule is in the community and then explain to me how we found out about that rule. So don't just say, in the community there's a rule that you must use precise language. True, but what's the moment in the book where we learned about that? Or what's a moment in the book where a character did not use precise language and got in trouble? So be specific. You don't have to put page numbers, but if I went to go find that data point, I should be able to find the exact page where that happens, because that's how specific your data is. Use details, and you might just be able to copy and paste from your reading guide. Then one more rule and a moment where a character interacts with that rule, and then explain it for me. What are these rules, the ones you just mentioned, what do they say about the community? What is the community trying to control by having these rules? So if we go back to that precision of language example, what is the community trying to control with that rule? How are they achieving sameness by having that rule? And then the exact same thing, but ceremonies. Describe 2 moments where a character attends a ceremony or we learn something about a ceremony, use specific names, specific details, and then explain what do these ceremonies say about the community and what's the community trying to control? How is the community achieving sameness with these ceremonies? Then you'll go to the next section of the reading guide, which is like relationships and lifestyle. So the left half of the slide is relationships, and the right half of the slide is lifestyle. So list a moment from the book that explains or involves relationships. Tell me about Jonas's friends, family. What are family units like? Just give me 2 examples. Make sure you're super specific. And then explain. What do the relationships say about the community? How do these relationships in the community impact the people who live there? Same thing, lifestyle. 2 data points about lifestyle. This can be a routine. You can talk about the dreams. You can talk about sharing feelings. You can talk about jobs. But just 2 examples with specific details, right? So for example, if you tell me every morning they have to share their dreams, that's not specific enough. I want to know an exact moment where a character shares and what their exact dream that they shared was. So be specific. And then you'll explain here. Then we'll go to conflicts. So give me 2 conflicts. So describe a moment in the book where Jonas has a conflict with the community. What happened? Explain in detail. So talk about a conflict Jonas has with the community, with maybe the rules, with a person in the community. Just what are some conflicts that Jonas has? You just need to give me 2. Explain in detail. And then the resolution, the big resolution. So based on the conflicts you just described, so based on all the conflicts Jonas has with the community, and when he learns more from the memories he gets from the giver, what does Jonas decide to do at the end of the book, and why does he decide to do this? So what does Jonas do at the end of the book because of everything he found out about the community, and why did he do so? Then, kind of the last section of the reading guide, sameness and diversity. So the left half of the slide is for sameness, and the right half is for diversity. So for the sameness side, what is sameness, and how does the community ensure that it happens? What are the positive and negatives? Use details from the book as you can. I just ask that this is at least 3 sentences. So what is sameness? How does the community ensure it happens, and kind of is it good or bad? And then the opposite. What is diversity? How does the community avoid diversity? And what are the positive or negatives? Feel free to use moments from the book, or even like the real world if you want to support your answer. So this slide should have at least 6 sentences. And I haven't said this in a few slides, but remember, right? Like, I'd recommend starting down like below, type your answer down here, right? Like type your answer, and then once you're done, go back and delete the instructions. So all that should be left on the slide are the words sameness and diversity. Sameness, diversity, and then I should not see any of these instructions. Instead, I should just see your 3-sentence answer. And then 2 more slides left. This is kind of your conclusion, if you will. So connections and contrasts. So what's one connection between the giver and the world we live in? So maybe what's one thing that our worlds have in common? One thing that is similar in terms of like communities or government or society norms or people. Please explain that thoroughly and add some sort of photo to go with that. And then the opposite. There's a lot that's different, so this side should be easy. What's one difference from the giver and the world we live in? And then please add a photo. And then your very last slide. This should be easy. And again, remember, delete everything in the asterisks after you complete what's written there. State what your favorite part of the book was. And make one prediction about what might happen to Jonas and Gabe at the end of the book. So basically, what do you think happens next? Because the end of the book is left super vague, right? We don't know what really happens to them. Do they have a happy ending? Do they have a sad ending? You make a prediction, add at least 1 photo, maybe find a photo from the movie, or feel free to add just any sort of quirky, fun photo here at the end. But that is your instructional video for this final project. I understand that there's a lot you have to do here, and that's why you have the whole week to work on this. But please go through this slowly. Make sure you proofread this. Think of it almost like an essay in some sense. Like proofread it. Make sure that there's no spelling mistakes. Make sure that you have at least some sort of background color. Make sure you've added photos appropriately. And just kind of have fun with this. It's kind of a different way to wrap up the giver unit because we do not have time nor the ability to write an essay. So I wanted to do something that still touches on the same sort of essay concepts and essay practice writing, but is maybe a little more fun or a little more artistic. So if you have any questions, please let me know. We will go over this in class a little more thoroughly, but B students, start working on this now. If you wait till Thursday and Friday, it's not going to go well for you. So have a good week and let me know if you have questions.